In the past, slam dunks were about creativity, athleticism, showmanship. In 2012, it will be about force.
It was a long-standing goal that Turner wanted to be able to measure the force of a slam dunk.
It would be interesting to see how hard the ball would go through the net. Just how much force is put behind it by the player.
We at the Media Laboratory have an interest in, among other things, instrumenting the world and measuring information about the world and making it visible. And in this particular case, the question was, how could we measure the amount of energy in a dunk?
Design specification that we got was it needed to be quick, it needed to be easy, it couldn't change the rim, it couldn't change the action of the net at all. It was very important that the player couldn't hang on the rim and change the force setting.
The thought that we had was perhaps the net itself could relay the amount of stretch based on the energy in the ball.
We know that there's conductive fabric, and people have been using it for many, many years to do stretch sensors with it.
This is the material I found, and it's elastic, and you can see it's electrically conductive. It has a resistance, but when it stretches, the resistance changes. And so if we put this inside the cord that makes up the basketball net, and we make two electrical connections to the net, we can measure the resistance, ultimately measure the energy behind the dunk.
Reading that force there's an electrical signal or current that goes through the material and then goes into what they call an analog to digital converter.
Here's the net here, the input signal goes here, goes to the brains of the operation. It thinks about looking for certain conditions. If those conditions are met, output signals go through here.
Once we got the sensor into the net, then it's a matter of starting the calibrating and sort of just seeing the behavior of the sensor in the ball and the way the ball can go through the net.
The thing that we have to do is that we have to be able to detect the difference between something that goes like this and something that goes like this.
So we have to have a computer program that understands what the ball is doing so that it can calibrate for both of those situations.
So what the jig allows us to do is allows us to repeatedly move the ball a known distance and a known velocity every time.
So everything is the same, so we know the force. So then we can actually compare and tell if the net is actually reading accurately that this force is the same all the time. So what we have here is an instrumented net. This net has been rigged so that it can detect how hard the ball goes through it. And we're going to try and see what fun things we can do with that information.
So instead of newtons of force, it's going to be Dwight Howard's of force or something?
Yeah, slam force G's.
Right.
Whoa! 480, that's what I wanted. That's our record now.
I think they're going to like it. I think it gives them one more thing to sort of add into the soup of what makes a good dunk. Now you've got physics on top of it, actual real science.
And it's a very easy result. Boom, it's higher. Boom, it's lower. You immediately know. It's a no-brainer.
Those guys are going to start competing
Yep.
pretty soon. As soon as they see those stats coming up, they're going to start competing with each other.